Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following confession that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi. I used magic money with my girlfriend. We had been using it for many years, and unfortunately, I then started to discover that there are other women that wanted me, and I started dating those women because of their age and my age as well. I did a mistake. That's when I agree. Now, my girlfriend, whom I did rituals with, has been haunting me for the past 8 years. Brother Nashi, please hide my identity. I am sending this through a ghost account. Please do not share even the name of the ghost account. My name for this story, I'll call myself Say More. I am a Zimbabwean man, and I am not young anymore like I was before. I won't make the same mistakes. I wish that I could turn back the hands of time so that I can get my girlfriend back, and I will just apologize to him for the things that I did. I am writing this because I really can't carry this in my heart anymore. This happened many years ago, but it is following me like a shadow. And speaking of shadows, I have seen the shadow of my girlfriend too many times, even when we were at her funeral, the time when a family were doing the body viewing. I could not go and look at her because I saw her. She was standing in front of the coffin looking at me, and she was really sad. She was crying, wearing a white garment, and she looked so beautiful and young, and she was crying. Then she looked at her body, and then she started walking away. It has been 8 years since Beauty. I will call her Beauty as the name that I'm going to be using in this story. This woman, she passed away, and I loved her a lot. I might be having money, but I still talk to her in my own head. Back then, I was not the man that I am right now. I was a man that was hungry for love, hungry for life, and I wanted money. I was already a hustler. Even back home, I used to be a taxi driver. And being a taxi driver, my boss, he had not registered his taxis. So we were like pirate taxi operators, always running away from other guys that had their taxis registered, stealing from their routes, as well as the police. So I was used to that type of a lifestyle, always being chased by the police. In the village, everyone, they just said I was too clever. Even my uncle, there was a time when he said, this one, you should not allow him to go to South Africa, because they were afraid that if I come to South Africa, I will end up becoming a ritualist. Like in those days, there were two guys from our village who were arrested in Beitbridge. They had the head of a child in their car, but they had this head of that child that they had killed in a cooler box. This story, it was once on the internet. Those guys, they were from our village, and they claimed that they had been in contact with a Sangoma from KZN. So they had the intentions of going with that head of that girl that they had killed to KZN so that they can sell it to that Sangoma, as they had discussed with him. But unfortunately, they were stopped just before they had entered the border, whilst they were still on the Zim side. One officer just suspected and asked them to open their cooler box, and then he made that gruesome discovery that there was a human head as well as some ice blocks that were on top of the head, and they were arrested. So everyone in our village, knowing that I was a hustler, when I went to speak with my uncle, I wanted him to sell his god. Then when I would have arrived in South Africa, I was going to give him his money back. He said, you have the nerves. After stealing so many times from me, now you want me to sell my god so that you can get some money to get onto the bus and you go to South Africa. Because my uncle, I had stolen from him too many times, more than I could remember. He was even tired of getting me arrested. but I finally convinced him to sell his goat. But he told my father that if he was going to allow me to go to South Africa, I was going to end up either being arrested or doing rituals, and I would finish the entire family. But my father, he saw this as the only opportunity to at least to be free, because he was always paying for things. Like if I would go and steal something, then those people would come to my father demanding that my father pay them. Even if I would have a big mess up, my father would always come and bail me out. So when I told him that I wanted to leave Zim to come to South Africa, he was happy for me because I was going to be away from the village and I would give him some peace of mind. And he also gave me some money, and I got onto the bus with the Malaicha and I traveled from Zim and I came to South Africa in Joburg. When I arrived in Joburg, life was very difficult. I do not want to lie. I was staying in this other village before first I came to Joburg. I stayed in this village. Whilst I was staying in that village just outside of Mukupane, that was when I met Beauty. Beauty was already working in Joburg. She was the reason as to why I ended up being in Joburg. She was a South African woman about 10 years older than me, and she worked at a municipality here in Joburg. She had a nice salary. She was like one of those people that goes around picking up rubbish and cleaning. So even though she was not making a lot of money, but you know, when you are having a job, at least you are getting money that is good. And she was someone that was very good. I met him whilst I was doing a small job close to her mother's house. I was busy raking. By then I had already finished. She then asked me if I could come to her mother's yard so that I can also clean, because we were entering into the raining season. So she did not want the weeds to grow big. With the work that I had done, when I agreed and when I had finished somewhere around 6 p.m., she then said, I can see that you Zimbabweans are very strong and I want you to keep on helping my mother. Later on, we then started talking on WhatsApp. She called me and she was like, say more, can you please send me some airtime? Just buy me airtime. And I knew that if a woman who has more money than you have, if you hear them saying, please buy me this and that, it means that they want you. So Beauty had been staying for a long time with a man in Joburg. This man had erectile dysfunction and he was unable to satisfy her, but I did not know this. When I went to her mom's house really late at night, it was somewhere around 11 p.m. and in that village, there used to be a lot of stabbings, but I walked because I was thinking about this yellow bone that I was going to chow on that night. So this gave me the nerves to walk. I was not even scared of those young boys that were going around the village with their okapis. I said, today I am going to deal with them. They are not going to stop me from seeing my yellow bone who has decided to give it up to me for free. And I did not have any intentions to sacrifice him at that time. It was all about sex, really. I had not yet even fallen in love with him. When I arrived there, we made love, me and her, and she was really surprised by the way that I gave it to her really good. And she said that she had last felt like this a very long time ago. She had already forgotten how good it is to be with a man that is strong in bed. So I started to love this woman, but I did not love her the way a good man should love a woman. I loved her for what she could do for me. She loved me deeply. That part hurts me the most now, because she told me that if I was an honest man, she was going to look for an accommodation for me in Johannesburg, and this was going to open some opportunities for me. She said, I want you as my man to be able to take good care of me, to buy me clothes, sneakers, to take care of me. And you can't do that when you are doing these piece jobs in this village. How much are you making each and every month? And I said, I'm making at least 1,000 rands. She said, that is little. Let me take you to Johannesburg. But she said, I'm going to go to Joburg, then I work for a month, look for a room for you, then you can stay, since we can't stay together because I'm staying with my boyfriend. But if you are honest, I will dump my boyfriend and then we can stay together. I then said, okay, it's fine. She already had a house in Joburg. So I really wanted to stay with her so that I can save money. Beauty was someone that also had the ancestral calling. She was supposed to go and do what they call in South Africa, ukutwasa, but she did not go to do that. But since she had not done that, there were times when Beauty will get sick, when she'll get moody. You could not understand her sometimes. She later told me after we started staying together, because when she had returned back to Joburg, she worked and then she got a room for me. And then I came to Joburg. I started communicating with other Zimbabweans that were staying in that same street which I was staying. So there was a man who was doing paving as well as putting tiles into people's homes. He told me that his assistant had left for Zim and he had not yet returned back. So he was going to be going around with me. And we started working together. He was a good man who taught me to do the job very well. Within 3 months, I was perfect because I'm very good with my hands. I already knew how to put the tiles on my own as if I had been doing that for years and years. He started getting a lot of contracts. He would go and drop me off and I would put the tiling with an assistant whilst he was putting tiles in another area. I then started to see that this man, he was using me. I was doing this job and he would give me a salary. I started doing my own thing and I was now staying with Beauty because she had kicked out her boyfriend that she had stayed with for a very long time. Whilst we were staying together, I discovered that there were times when Beauty will just become moody for no reason at all. I spoke with him as a loving boyfriend. So as we were staying together, she then told me that she had something that had been stressing him for a very long time because she was supposed to go and to do the initiation. I said, why don't you do it? She told me that where she was supposed to go to, where her ancestor had told her to go and to be initiated, it was in Venda, and the man had told her that she was supposed to stay at his house for the entire year, which was something that she could not afford to do because she had 3 daughters that she had, and they were still going to school, but one was in college already. So if she could go for the whole year without working, she will end up losing her job. They were not going to wait for her to do the initiation, then return back to work. I then asked her and I said, so what are you going to do? She said, if you see me being moody, it is because of this. I started to speak with this other woman. I had worked with a husband before. That woman was a Zimbabwean prophetess. One day I was at their house and we were just watching TV. And as I was speaking with her husband, then I just thought about my girlfriend. And then I asked the woman, the prophetess, and I told her that I had this girlfriend of mine that everyone knew about. And this girlfriend of mine, she was experiencing some challenges because of the ancestral calling that she had. And I just needed people to assist me if there was a way that her ancestors would allow her to live a normal life as a woman, because she had told me that if we agree, we can have a baby together. But as for now, my womb is blocked by my ancestors because I did not do this initiation ritual. So that woman then told me that we can go with her to the river at a place where there was a waterfall, and then they were going to cleanse her. And once they would have cleansed her, it would help quite a lot so that the ancestors will stop tormenting her like the way that they were doing. When I spoke with Beauty, I saw that she was really interested. She was someone that loved to just see what were the ancestors would do for him if she would speak with them and do all the necessary rituals. We went to this other river where there was a waterfall, and then she was cleansed in that river. Then she started to have dreams, and we started going to different sangomas. So as we were going to different sangomas, she was being told that she had to stop working for the entire year so that the whole initiation ceremony can be done. She started hating her ancestors, and she was like, my ancestors, I don't understand them. Instead of them blessing me, like what I have seen other people and heard other people saying that ever since that they started communicating with their ancestors, they have been blessed, they have been living a perfect life, and they are rich. But as for my ancestors, they want me to return back to poverty, because if I do not work for the entire year, then it means that I'm going to get fired. I had returned back home by then, and I had spoken with one traditional healer in our village. Since I was now working on my own, I was suspecting that my former boss, he had done some bad things, because I was always having bad luck. I could work for someone, then when it comes to the payment, that person will pay me really slow or not pay me at all. So this used to trouble me quite a lot. Why was it that the people were telling me that I am someone that works really well, but then when I look and see when it comes to the payments, I'm not getting paid? But other people that when I would go to their houses, they would be complaining and saying that, look at this Zimbabwean guy, I give him a chance to work for me, but they do all of this nonsense in my house. But you would discover that he had paid that guy in total. I would remove those tiles and put brand new tiles that even people would comment and say, this is a masterpiece. But when it comes to the payment, it will be one story after the other. So naturally, I was suspecting that there might be something that was wrong with me. When I went back home, I spoke with the Sangoma, and the Sangoma confirmed it and said that my former boss, he was jealous of me, because he was saying that he had trained me and I had gone and I had started my own company. He wanted me to work for him like forever. And I said, but I have my own life. I am allowed to start my own, to do whatever that I want to do on my own. Am I not allowed to do that? So that Sangoma told me that people, they react and they think in different ways. This was what this former boss of mine had decided to do. So my brother, I was then given some charms that I was supposed to use to block whatever evil thing that my former boss had been doing towards me. So I had been given some soil to pour at the front gate, because my former boss, it was said that he had dropped some soil from the grave, giving me bad luck. And later on, I then told Beauty about this. When I told him, after I had gotten a good contract, I even bought for him a small car. And she said, oh, so those sangomas from Zim, they are really powerful, ne? And I said, yeah, I think so. Because look, babe, ever since I have returned back from Zim, I am getting paid. I am getting all of these contracts, because by then I had 3 workers that were working for me. So Beauty then said, how about if we go to Zim together, and then we can see if they can be able to assist me so that my ancestors won't keep on troubling me. My brother, then I had an idea, and I did not plan for things to go that far. I blame the traditional healer. They do not speak the truth. Maybe not all of them, but what I've discovered is that this witch doctor from our village, he is dishonest. He's not honest in his ways, because he did not tell me the truth. He just told me that he can help me to get rich, but he wanted some cows. If I calculate the value at that time of the cows that he wanted, it was about 28,000 rands. And I knew that Beauty, she had 26,000 that was in her savings. I knew the power of that traditional healer. If he was going to assist us and we pay him, we could become rich. But I was afraid to tell Beauty that this was what I had in mind, because maybe she was going to refuse. I encouraged her and I suggested that we go back to Zimbabwe together. I said that it will be a short visit. It would help with our future. She trusted me, and that is the trust that ended up destroying our relationship. We went to my rural home. I won't name the exact place because there are things that are scary to talk about. So we went there, and then we spoke with the Sangoma. Me and the Sangoma, we knew that these were rituals to get magic money. I was then given a walking stick. Let me say that me and Beauty, we were given a walking stick. We were told that this walking stick, we can go to a casino. When you go to that casino, you just tap it if they allow you to enter with it. But it was just a normal walking stick. And when you tap the floor as you are entering, you will win a jackpot on that day. And even if you go to a supermarket, I will tell you how we used to do this. This walking stick, I was the one that would carry it around. Since Beauty was someone that dealt with the ancestors, she always loved to wear traditional stuff. So it was not that super weird when people would see us, me walking with that walking stick, and we would be dressing nice clothes, expensive clothes, and I would be walking with that walking stick, just a stick, nothing special really. So this walking stick, it became our tokoloshi. That was the tokoloshi that gave us magic money. It is just a normal walking stick, but inside this walking stick, there is a partition where you open. I opened this partition after 21 days, and I would have taken soil from the cemetery. After taking that soil from the cemetery, then I burn it. This I do on the braai stand. I just take a metallic pan and then I put the soil in there. Then I will just cook the soil just a little bit to heat it up. Then I let it get cold underneath the shade of a tree, not in direct sunlight. When it is cold enough for me to touch, then I put it into that partition where I would have removed the soil that I would have kept in the walking stick for 21 days, but I pour it into a bucket. Then after doing that ritual, I immediately go and bath without using any soap. So the tokoloshi, it stays inside this walking stick. So this walking stick, we would go with it shopping to Checkers. Normal shopping, you would buy. Yes, I would buy. But when I am at the till, this is what I do to this very day. When I am by the till, as I am paying, I just tap a little bit. I tap before I swipe or pay with cash. The moment that I tap, it means that the money that is going to be in that till from morning until they close, that money will be coming to me, not into the account, cash. This money, it just appears in my room per day. It depends with how many supermarkets I have visited, but usually I just visit one supermarket or two. By the end of the day, you'll end up seeing that you have made maybe 20,000 or more. And when it is during month end, you'll have made a lot of money. So as we were making all of this money, Beauty was so happy. She was like, babe, I love you. Say more. You are so smart. Look how we have cheated the world. This money is coming without effort. And we were enjoying life. We were even afraid to stay in the location anymore where Beauty's house is, because it was a little bit dangerous. Now that we were having all of this money, we then spoke about it. Since we did not have a marriage certificate, she was hesitant to get a house through a home loan. She said, how about we just rent a townhouse? And that was what we did. We started renting. To this very day, I'm still staying in the same townhouse. Maybe that is why I have been seeing a ghost all these years. So we were enjoying money, going on vacations. We stopped fearing buying things. We would go to a clothing store, you buy clothes for 3,000, 4,000. Why worry? Because when you tap, then the money, when you go back home, you will find out that the money would return back to you, including the money that they would have sold on that day. So life was very beautiful and things started to change. The moment that I got a vehicle and got a driver's license, things really changed. I started to see beauty as an old woman. The mistake was that she said, babe, let us get in shape. We just sit around, we don't do anything. She then joined a gym membership, and I used to go to Virgin Active. And when I would be there, I started noticing other younger women, and I started feeling embarrassed to walk around with her because she was beautiful, but she was old. So people, they would look at us, especially at the gym, and they'll be like, yo, this is a Ben 10. And I did not want to keep on feeling like that. I hated myself for thinking like that because me and beauty, we had came a very long way, but I still did it. I started cheating because some of these women, they started throwing themselves at me, even in the neighborhood where we were staying. So she finally found out. We started fighting almost each and every day. Then the worst mistake happened. My brother, I went back to Zim. I was angry at beauty. When I went back to Zim, I did not want to sacrifice her. I just wanted to get some charms. You know, as a man, they say when you want to have two wives or two girlfriends, in my case, and these girlfriends, you want them to understand each other, to even act as if they are sisters. What do? You have to use some charms, right? That was what I had been thinking about at that time. I said, in order for me to be able to treat beauty in a respectful way, but also having a girlfriend by the side, I am supposed to be using beauty, using some charms on her so that she can keep on loving me. I did not want to dump her because me and her, we had came a very long way. So me and beauty, we were fighting by the time that I went to Zim. And then that same Sangoma said, what is the purpose of keeping her alive when you have already made it in life? He then gave me some charms, but I did put beauty in a bottle, which I threw into the river. Beauty passed away. After she passed away, she died in our bedroom, the same bedroom which I still sleep in to this very day. Even if I have a girlfriend, that girlfriend will never know or suspect that this is what happened. There is a woman that died in the same bedroom. And beauty, after she had passed away, we went and we buried her. Like I told you, at the time of the funeral, when they were doing a body viewing, I was called by her sister and she said, come and see the love of your life before we bury him. I was scared. I acted as if I was crying, but in my heart, I knew what had happened to beauty and I had seen her. I see beauty sometimes standing at the door. Sometimes she walks behind me. And what really terrifies me is that I speak to myself. There are times when I talk to myself. If I am with a woman, she will end up asking me, are you okay? Who are you talking to? So this is what I do these days, since I now have a habit of talking to myself. Even when I am walking or driving, I can go maybe for 5 minutes talking to myself, but I'll be seeing beauty sitting right next to me. She'll be asking me, say more, say more. What did you do to me? Why did you kill me like this? What did I do wrong that made you to sacrifice me? So I'll be arguing with him, asking for her forgiveness. Now what I do is that I always keep an ear pod so that someone can think that I am speaking on the phone. And if I am having a girlfriend, if she sees me talking, when she say, babe, who are you talking to? Then I'll just point at my ear and show her that I have an earphone on and I am talking on the phone, but it will be a lie. I feel as if I am losing my mind. Brother, sometimes I wish that I had stayed poor. I wish that I had stayed with Beauty, even though we were doing these rituals. To you, wherever you are, Beauty, my love, I am sorry, Beauty, for what I did. I was not a good man. You deserved better. This is my confession. Beauty is truly haunting me. I don't blame her. If it is my conscience, if everything that is happening are just hallucinations, then my mind is doing its job because I have no peace. I don't think that God will send me to hell after living this life. With the way that I'm suffering, I don't think that I am going to hell because I have suffered. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us try to speak with our brother in the comment section. Strange things indeed. They do happen in this world. Yo. Can you imagine? He is saying that he sees the ghost of Beauty, the late girlfriend.